Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to hear me today. This is not a message for the passive, for the comfortable, or for those who are waiting for life to happen. This is a call to the chosen ones. Yes, you. And today you must decide, yes or no. You have to answer now. When God calls you, hesitation is not an option. A delay in answering your assignment is a delay in your manifestation. Many people live their entire lives waiting for the right time to step into what they were created to do. They wait for the perfect moment, for everything to align, for fear to subside, for people to approve. But what they do not realize is that delay is a silent destroyer. It is the enemy of destiny, the thief of purpose, and the tool the adversary uses to keep people bound in mediocrity. The moment God places a calling on your life, He is not asking for your convenience. He is commanding your obedience. There is no such thing as neutral ground in the realm of purpose. You are either moving forward or standing still, and standing still is just another form of moving backward. The kingdom of God operates on divine timing, not human hesitation. When the disciples were called, they didn't wait to get their affairs in order. They dropped their nets and followed Jesus immediately. When Elijah placed his mantle on Elisha, there was no prolonged debate. Elisha burned his plow and ran after his destiny. Why? Because destiny does not wait. It demands a response. Hesitation is a deceptive form of rebellion. When God speaks, delay communicates distrust. It suggests that we do not fully believe He has prepared the way for us, that we are unsure if His promise is reliable, that we want more assurance before we step out. But faith does not operate that way. Faith moves even when the path is not fully visible. Faith steps forward when everything in the natural realm says, wait. Faith understands that hesitation can be the difference between walking in divine favor or watching opportunities pass by. Look at the children of Israel. They were at the edge of the promised land, but their hesitation cost them 40 years of wandering. They saw the giants, they heard the reports, and instead of moving forward, they hesitated. And that hesitation became disobedience. God had already given them the land, but their delay in stepping into it postponed their manifestation. The same principle applies today. Many people pray for breakthroughs, for opportunities, for God to open doors, but when He does, they hesitate. They analyze, overthink, seek unnecessary confirmations, and in the process, forfeit the moment of their calling. God never gives a calling without providing the grace to fulfill it. The problem is not that people lack ability. It is that they lack movement. The assignment was given before you were born. The purpose was set in motion before you took your first breath. You were created with a mission, and everything you need to fulfill it has already been placed inside of you. But potential means nothing without action. Many graves are filled with unrealized dreams, unopened books, unpreached sermons, and undiscovered gifts. Not because God never called, but because people hesitated. There is a moment in every person's life where destiny knocks. The voice of God will stir something deep within your spirit, calling you to step into the unknown, to leave behind what is familiar, to walk on the water instead of staying in the boat. But in that moment, a decision must be made. You will either say yes, or you will miss your moment. And the reality is, not every moment comes back. Some doors close permanently because they were meant to be walked through at a specific time. Some assignments shift to others because the original person chosen hesitated too long. Consider the story of Esther. She was placed in the palace for a divine assignment, but she had a choice. When Mordecai told her that she must act, that she must speak up, he also warned her that if she remained silent, God would raise up someone else. That is the reality of destiny. If you do not move, God will find someone who will. His purpose will be fulfilled with or without you, but you will be the one who loses the opportunity to be part of something greater than yourself. Fear is one of the greatest weapons the enemy uses to make people hesitate. The fear of failure, the fear of inadequacy, the fear of opposition. These are all designed to paralyze you in the moment of decision. But fear is not an excuse to delay. God never calls a person without equipping them. He never gives an assignment without releasing the power to accomplish it. When God calls, It is because He has already prepared the way, placed the resources, and arranged the connections. The only thing left is your response. You must understand that your calling is not just about you. There are lives attached to your obedience. There are people waiting for what you carry. Your hesitation does not just affect your future, it affects generations. A delayed response to God's call can create a chain reaction that impacts countless others. There are people in need of the message inside you, the business idea within you, the ministry waiting to be birthed through you. And every day you hesitate, someone else is missing what they were supposed to receive through you. Indecision is a decision. When you delay, you are making a choice, whether you realize it or not. You are choosing comfort over calling, fear over faith, and excuses over execution. But the truth remains. God is calling, and you must answer. Before you took your first breath, before your name was ever spoken, before the world even recognized your existence, you were chosen. You are not here by accident. You are not a product of random circumstances. You are not just another person moving through life without meaning. You are a divine assignment wrapped in human form, sent to this earth with a purpose so great that heaven itself ordained your existence. Long before your parents planned for you, or even if they didn't, God had already planned your arrival. Your purpose was written into the very fabric of time, carefully woven into the grand design of creation. You were not an afterthought, you were an intentional masterpiece, formed by the hands of the Almighty. He told the prophet Jeremiah, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." That was not just a word for Jeremiah, that is a word for you. God knew you before you were ever introduced to the world. He chose you, marked you, and assigned you to a destiny that is uniquely yours. The enemy would love for you to believe that your life is insignificant. He wants you to think you are just existing, just surviving, just trying to make it from one day to the next. But the truth is, there is a calling over your life that cannot be erased. You were set apart for something greater than yourself. You were placed in this generation for a reason, born at the exact time and place that God designed for you. There is nothing about your existence that is a mistake. And because you were chosen before birth, nothing in your past can disqualify you. The struggles you have faced, the setbacks, the failures, the moments of doubt, none of it can cancel the assignment God has placed on your life. People may try to discredit you. They may look at your past and say you are not worthy, not capable, not qualified. But what they do not realize is that man does not choose the chosen, God does. And once God has called you, no human opinion can overrule His decision. Being chosen does not mean your journey will be easy. In fact, it means the opposite. The enemy fights what he fears. The moment you were born, a battle began over your destiny. The enemy recognized that if you ever discovered who you truly are, if you ever understood the power within you, if you ever stepped fully into your divine calling, you would be unstoppable. That is why you have faced attacks. That is why you have experienced seasons of deep struggle. That is why you have gone through things that others did not survive. Because the enemy has been trying to derail you from the beginning. But here is the truth. The very fact that you are still here is proof that God's hand is on you. You have survived what was meant to destroy you. You have overcome what was designed to break you. And that is because the purpose within you is stronger than the opposition around you. You were chosen, and no amount of warfare can change that. There is something inside of you that the world needs. Your voice, your vision, your gift, your anointing. It was placed within you for a reason. There are lives connected to your assignment. There are people waiting for what you carry. And until you step fully into your calling, something will always feel incomplete. You were not designed to live an ordinary life. You were not created to blend in, to settle, to merely exist. You were called to stand out, to rise, to impact, to fulfill a divine mission. But being chosen comes with a responsibility. You cannot live as though your life does not matter. You cannot move through each day as though you were not sent here for something specific. There is an expectation on your life. Heaven is waiting for you to take your rightful place. You are a solution to a problem in this world. You are an answer to a need. You are a vessel carrying something powerful. But until you recognize this truth, you will continue to live beneath your calling. It is time to stop questioning whether or not you are chosen. You were chosen before you were born. It is not up for debate. It is not something you have to earn. It is something you must accept. The moment you embrace your identity as one who has been divinely appointed, everything in your life will begin to shift. Because when you know who you are, you begin to walk differently. You begin to talk differently. You begin to operate with a confidence that is not rooted in yourself, but in the one who sent you. The world does not need another person wandering aimlessly, unsure of their purpose. The world needs a chosen one who is bold enough to say, I was created for such a time as this. The moment you accept that reality, everything changes. Because when you align yourself with the purpose God has placed on your life, nothing and no one can stop you. Every chosen one must come to a defining moment, a moment where fear and faith collide, a moment where you must decide whether you will walk in confidence or shrink back in doubt. This battle is not new. It has been waged since the beginning of time. Every man or woman called by God has faced it, and now it is your turn. The enemy thrives on your hesitation. He does not need to strip you of your calling. He only needs to convince you that you are not capable of fulfilling it. He does not need to take away your gift. He only needs to make you question whether you are truly anointed. Because the moment you begin to doubt, you become stagnant. And if the enemy can keep you paralyzed by fear, then he knows he has already won half the battle. Fear is the greatest weapon the enemy uses against the chosen. He whispers lies that make you second-guess yourself. He reminds you of every failure, every flaw, every shortcoming. He tells you that you are not strong enough, not qualified enough, not prepared enough. And if you listen to those lies, you will begin to believe them. You will begin to question whether you were truly called in the first place. But let me remind you, God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. If He has placed an assignment on your life, He has already equipped you with everything you need to fulfill it. You may not see it yet, but everything you have been through has been preparation. The trials, the setbacks, the disappointments, they have all been shaping you for the very thing you are called to do. When God called Moses, Moses was afraid. He looked at his limitations instead of God's power. He said, "Who am I to go to Pharaoh?" But God did not call Moses based on his ability. He called him based on His divine plan. And in the same way, God is not looking for your perfection. He is looking for your obedience. Faith is what moves heaven. When you step out in faith, you activate the supernatural. When you trust God beyond what you can see, He begins to open doors that no man can shut. But as long as you let fear control your decisions, you will remain in the same place, waiting for a certainty that will never come. You will never feel completely ready for what God has called you to do. You will never have all the answers. You will never have the perfect plan. That is why faith is required. Faith is saying yes before you see the full picture. Faith is stepping into the unknown, trusting that God has already made a way. This is the battle for your yes. Will you allow fear to keep you bound, or will you trust that God is bigger than every obstacle in your path? Will you stay in the comfort of what is familiar, or will you step into the destiny that was written for you before you were born? The choice is yours. But remember this: delaying your yes does not delay God's plan. It only delays your breakthrough. The moment you say yes, fully, completely, without reservation, heaven begins to move on your behalf. The moment you choose faith over fear, doors begin to open, resources begin to flow, and divine connections begin to align. Because God does not send His chosen ones into battle unprepared. If He called you, He has already gone before you. If He assigned you, He has already secured your victory. So do not let fear steal what belongs to you. Do not let doubt rob you of your destiny. Say yes, even if your voice shakes. Say yes, even if you don't have all the answers. Say yes, because your obedience will unlock the very thing you have been praying for. Now is the moment. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when you feel ready. Now, the world is shifting, and the time for the chosen ones to rise is upon us. There is no more room for delay, no more space for hesitation, no more time for excuses. The kingdom needs you, and the hour is urgent. Every major move of God throughout history has required men and women who were willing to say yes, who were willing to step into the unknown, who were willing to sacrifice comfort for calling. This is no different. The world is not waiting for another person to blend in, to be passive, to live in the shadows of fear. The world is waiting for those who will stand boldly and declare, "Here I am, Lord, send me." The truth is, if you don't step into your purpose, someone else will. The plans of God do not stop because of human hesitation. His mission does not depend on our comfort. When Saul refused to fully obey, God raised up David. When Esther hesitated, Mordecai reminded her, "If you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise from another place." But she made the decision to step up, to risk it all, to walk in divine authority. And because of her yes, an entire nation was saved. The kingdom is advancing, and you were placed in this generation for a reason. Your gifts, your voice, your influence, everything about you was strategically designed for this time. God could have placed you in any era, in any century, but He chose now. He placed you in this specific moment in history because there is something you carry that this world needs. There are souls attached to your obedience, breakthroughs connected to your assignment, destinies that will be unlocked when you step into who you were created to be. Do not be deceived. There is no neutral ground in the kingdom. You are either moving forward or you are falling behind. You are either taking your place or someone else is stepping into the gap. The purpose God placed on your life is too significant for you to remain passive. Heaven is calling, and the only question is, will you answer? This is not the time to doubt yourself. This is not the time to question whether you are ready. You will never feel fully prepared. But the moment you take that first step, you will realize that everything you need has already been placed inside of you. You will realize that what you have been waiting for is actually waiting for you. The world is in desperate need of leaders who carry the heart of God. It is in need of visionaries who refuse to bow to fear, who will not compromise their assignment, who will not be silenced by opposition. This is your moment. This is your season. This is the time to step out, to rise up, to take dominion over what God has already declared belongs to you. You have been called for such a time as this. Do not waste another day wondering if you are enough. Do not let another opportunity pass because you are afraid of the unknown. Say yes now. Move now. The kingdom needs you now. Being chosen is not about you. It never was. It is not about titles, recognition, or personal gain. It is about responsibility. It is about the weight of the assignment that heaven has placed on your life. To be chosen is not to be exalted, it is to be entrusted. God has entrusted you with something greater than yourself, something that is bigger than your own dreams, your own comfort, or your own understanding. When God calls a person, He is not just calling them, He is calling generations through them. Your obedience is not just about you. It is about the lives that will be changed because you said yes. There are people waiting on the other side of your obedience, people whose breakthroughs are attached to your faithfulness. Your assignment is not isolated, it is connected. The moment you step into your purpose, you become a key that unlocks doors for others. Look at Abraham. His obedience didn't just bless him, it established a covenant that affected generations. Look at Moses. His calling was not about his personal success, it was about leading an entire nation to freedom. When God chooses a man or a woman, He is thinking beyond their lifetime. He is setting up something that will echo through history. And now He is calling you. But with that calling comes weight. The weight of leadership, the weight of sacrifice, the weight of standing alone when others walk away, the weight of being misunderstood, of being tested, of being stretched beyond your limits. It is easy to want the anointing without the process, but the process is necessary. The greater the assignment, the greater the cost. That is why many people do not step into their calling, because they want the blessing without the burden. But make no mistake, To be chosen is to be refined. To be chosen is to be pruned, to be shaped, to be pressed until every part of you that is not aligned with God's will is removed. The anointing is costly. Purpose comes with a price. And the price is your comfort, your excuses, and your fear. But here is the truth. When you carry out your assignment, when you fully embrace what God has placed on your life, the reward is far greater than the sacrifice. The joy of seeing lives transformed, the power of knowing you are walking in divine alignment, the fulfillment of knowing that you are doing what you were created to do, nothing compares to that. The world may not understand it. Some may criticize it. Others may even walk away from you because of it. But at the end of the day, your reward is in the impact you leave, the legacy you build, and the souls that will be in the kingdom because you answered the call. This is not about you. It never was. It is about something much greater. It is about God's divine plan unfolding through you. It is about heaven touching earth through your obedience. It is about being a vessel, an instrument, a servant of the Most High. So let go of the fear. Let go of the excuses. Let go of the idea that you need to be perfect before you step forward. God does not call the perfect. He calls the willing. And if you are willing, He will equip you, empower you, and strengthen you for the journey ahead. The weight of responsibility is heavy, but the grace to carry it is greater. The cost is high, but the reward is eternal. You were chosen for this, not for your own sake, but for the sake of those who will find their purpose, their healing, and their freedom because you said yes. Your answer determines the next chapter. Life will not wait for you. Destiny does not pause until you feel ready. The opportunities that heaven has placed before you are not indefinite. They require a response. You must decide today. Will you step into the fullness of your calling, or will you let fear write your story? Every great move of God begins with a decision. A single yes can change everything. A single moment of boldness can alter the course of your life forever. But hesitation is costly. Indecision is not neutrality. It is surrendering your future to fear. If you do not choose faith, you are choosing doubt. If you do not choose obedience, you are choosing disobedience. If you do not choose purpose, you are choosing regret. There is no middle ground. Think of the men and women who shape history, not because they were the most qualified, but because they were willing. David was just a shepherd boy until he decided to step onto the battlefield. Peter was just a fisherman until he decided to step out of the boat. Esther was just an orphan until she decided to walk into the king's presence uninvited. Every one of them faced a defining moment, a moment where they had to choose whether they would trust God or retreat in fear. You are standing in that moment right now. The next chapter of your life is waiting for your response. Will you walk forward in faith, or will you remain stuck in the safety of the familiar? Will you embrace the unknown, or will you let the enemy convince you that you are not enough? The truth is, the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. The more you delay, the more doubt grows. The enemy wants you to procrastinate. He wants you to believe that you need more time, that you need more confirmation, that you need to be stronger, wiser, better prepared. But God is not asking for your perfection. He is asking for your obedience. He is not waiting for you to have all the answers. He is waiting for your yes. If you refuse to step forward, if you refuse to take hold of what God has placed in front of you, you risk missing the very thing you were created for. Purpose does not chase after those who ignore it. Doors will not remain open forever. There are moments in life when you must seize what is before you, when you must declare, Lord, I don't have all the details, but I trust you. That moment is now. You do not get to rewrite the past, but you do get to decide the future. The next chapter of your life has not yet been written, and the pen is in your hands. Will it be a chapter of courage or one of hesitation? Will it be a chapter of faith or a chapter of fear? Will it be a story of purpose fulfilled, or will it be another page of missed opportunities? The decision is yours. Heaven is waiting. The next chapter begins with your answer. What will it be? The time is now. There is no more room for hesitation, no more time for excuses. You were chosen before you were born, set apart for such a time as this. Everything you have been through, every struggle, every setback, every season of waiting was preparing you for this moment. You cannot afford to shrink back now. You cannot afford to let fear rob you of what God has already placed in your hands. Heaven is waiting for your response. Generations are waiting for your obedience. The world is groaning for the manifestation of the chosen ones, and you are among them. Will you answer the call? Will you step into what you were created to do? Or will you let doubt, fear, and complacency write a story that was never meant to be yours? You don't need another sign. You don't need more time to think. You don't need to wait for the perfect conditions. God has already spoken. And when God speaks, your only response should be, yes, Lord. The next chapter of your life begins the moment you decide. Your destiny will not wait forever. So choose. Choose purpose over fear, faith over doubt, obedience over comfort. Choose to walk in the fullness of who you were created to be. Because ready or not, it's happening.